HIVERY was founded 6 years ago in Sydney, Australia, with the core philosophy that data has a better idea. Our founders include successful business leaders and PhD data scientists from Australia's leading data science organization. Together, they leveraged AI and machine learning to solve the most difficult space and assortment challenge, localizing and optimizing space and assortment to grow revenue and reduce labor for one of the largest CPG manufacturers in the world. Hyperlocal retailing was born, the next generation assortment and space optimization solution. In the last year, we've worked with some of the largest CPG manufacturers at their key retailers to leverage Curate in over 20 different categories with amazing results. If you've never thought you'd be able to predict the financial outcome of assortment changes, optimize assortment down to the store level, automate planogram generation, and simulate the incrementality of new items in minutes versus months, well, now you can. I would like to introduce you to Heather Martin to tell you more about the value that we're creating for our CPG manufacturer clients. Heather, take it away.
Thanks, Scott. I am so excited about what we're doing here at HIVERY because we are uncovering incremental growth opportunities for our CPG partners while reducing the amount of time that category managers are spending on analytics by democratizing machine learning. This means they're able to spend less time analyzing data, more time leveraging insights to drive decisions and be thought leaders for their organization and their retailer partners. We start by turning traditional assortment analytics on its head. Rather than starting from the national view and pushing that down into each store, we actually start from the most bottom level, weekly data by UPC by store, and then we aggregate it up. Therefore, HIVERY Curate considers the uniqueness of each store's shoppers and shopping needs, the unique way each product and brand meets those needs, and takes into consideration store level cannibalization and incrementality, and even the space that's available at each store in order to predict the assortment's revenue impact. On average, we're driving 5.6% incremental growth for the category at the retailer and more than 7% growth for our CPG partners. And that's without spending a single dollar on trade or introducing new innovation. Look, I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about how we do this, so let me share an analogy. We've all used Google Maps to get from one place to another, say from our home to the CMA conference. We've given Google a goal to get there as fast as possible, and Google figures out what roads to take, considering all of the variables like road closures and traffic. But there are some things Google doesn't know, like maybe I need to avoid toll roads because I don't have a toll tag, or I want to stop in Chicago to have dinner with a friend. We then give Google those additional inputs and it re-optimizes again for the fastest route while considering all of the variables. Similarly, HIVERY Curate is given a goal, such as to maximize revenue, unit sales, profit, or a mixture of all of these. It predicts how each item will perform in each store and then optimizes the assortment based on the space available. But if the recommendations can't be executed, they are worthless. So through our self-service SaaS platform, our CPG partners can give HIVERY Curate other variables to solve for. For example, work within existing clusters, limit churn to 5%, adhere to supply chain or retailer merchandising limitations, whatever is necessary to ensure that the recommended assortment is executable in store and agreeable to both the CPG and retail partner. This same capability allows our partners to test strategies and hypotheses and predict their revenue impact. We've simulated post-COVID scenarios to determine how to optimize space and assortment for a post-COVID world, simulated reduced inventory or SKU rationalization strategies, allowed HIVERY Curate to consider new items and determine the best stores or store formats to launch in, run portfolio management scenarios within a manufacturer's brand portfolio. And because we start at the store level and aggregate up, the scenarios we simulate are vast, and the results are vastly different because first, they start by looking at each store as the snowflake it is, and second, they are executable, all the way down to the add, keep, delete list for each store and automated planograms for those stores. HIVERY Curate has been leveraged across retailers, channels, categories, and execution methods from clustered to store specific. And we are driving millions of incremental dollars for our CPG partners and their retailers. In about 2 minutes, Steve Weir is going to join us, and he's going to share some of the results that we're driving for our clients. But before he does, I want to introduce you to David Buckley, who leads our retail team. David, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Heather. As Heather just mentioned, we are really excited by the impact that HIVERY is having for CPG customers. In addition, as HIVERY's retail leader, I'm just as excited by the impact that we are having for our retail partners. Across multiple retail formats, such as mass merchants, C-stores, grocery stores, and drug chains, We have seen strong results, averaging 5.6% incremental sales growth in multiple categories, such as beverages, center store, HBC, refrigerated and frozen categories. In just a moment, Steve Weir, our head of client services, will share some additional case study perspectives, so I won't steal Steve's thunder. Let me just say this. By starting at the lowest level, which is the store, we have the most granular level of understanding, or as I like to say, we know the DNA or the fingerprint of each store. As you may have heard in retail, if you've seen one store, well, then you've seen one store, because each store really is unique. It's unique in the combination of its exact location, its size, its proximity and convenience versus other competitors around it. It's unique in the customers who actually shop the store. At HIVERY, we take advantage of this uniqueness and we help capitalize on it. We do this in a way that puts the power of machine learning to work for everyday category managers and merchants to evaluate a multitude of strategic alternatives. Because the system is simple to use and fast enough to run real-time scenarios, users are able to support a number of key priorities at our retail partners, such as driving incremental sales, volume, and profits, negotiating with their CPG suppliers and partners, JBP planning, improving labor efficiency in the stores, improving sustainability and reducing shrink and waste, improving new item launches by improving where that innovation is targeted, and working on strategic aisle and department adjacency and flow projects. All of this is very exciting, and we really look forward to helping retailers do more of this as we go forward. Now, to share some of our specific client success stories, let me introduce Steve Weir, our head of client services. Steve is an industry veteran and one of the best practitioners in category management. Take it away, Steve.
I've been working in category management and shopper insights for over 20 years now. I know what it is like to be in your shoes, and I continue to work in the trenches with you. I've seen some tools come and go over those years, and I've seen other tools evolve over time, but honestly, at a glacial rate. Yet there have historically been two big gaps that needed to be closed. First, a simultaneous optimization of both assortment and space, where assortment decisions are reflected real time in rendered planograms. And second, the ability to operationalize insights. As an industry, we are great at descriptive reporting, and we're getting better at predictive modeling. But there is a huge opportunity to push ourselves even further into prescriptive analytics, or in other words, operationalizing insights to find the best solutions given a wide variety of real-world business constraints. So I want to close by sharing some very high-level results that come from working with some of our amazing client partners. As we have expanded into more and more categories, we've seen an average of a 5.6% lift in revenue for the categories being optimized. This has yielded significant upside results for our partners in the form of an obvious revenue increase, but also in distribution increases and category growth and market share growth for our retailers. There is much to be gained from the simultaneous optimization of assortment and space, and the ability to operationalize insights through strategic simulations. We hope you're interested in learning more, so please reach out